Relationships, they are roller coasters. Sometimes you get a rush of excitement and sometimes they just rip your heart apart. But we all can't seem to get enough of it. Some of them work out and some of them don't. Why don't they work out? Well, let's get to the video. Hey, this is John Penny, and this is your first time visiting my channel. Make sure you click on that subscribe button, smash that bell as well. Dong. That's how I imagine a bell will sound. Dong. So smash that bell as well so you get a notification every time I put out a brand new video. My goal with this channel is to get knowledge to you and help you be the best version of yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into the midst of it. Relationships. Why do they actually fall apart? That's a great question. The reason why relationships usually fall apart is because of a lack of transparency and honesty. Do you want this with the partner? No, with ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean with yourself. These are the phases of a relationship. Meeting, excitement, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I met him. Girl, you want... Yeah, that kind of excitement. Then there's the courting stage. Usually that is the validation and deception time. This is the time where you start going to restaurants, it brings you roses, flowers, and you get to know who you think each other is. And by who you think each other is personalities, and that can be very, very deceiving. Number 3, the dating stage. This is the integration, and revelation. This is where you probably move in together, start to experience each other in a more personal, everyday aspect. This is where things start to get a bit heated, if I do say so myself. But those that do make it past this great threshold end up in the marriage stage, which is the compromisation and dependency. Now, I say those two because it's either going to be one or the other. If those two people don't compromise to meet each other on a level of honesty that benefits both of them, then one or the other become dependent on the other person. And in many cases, these relationships after a few years end up in divorce. So for relationships that end up in breakup or divorce, for the most case, the pattern is when two people meet, they most likely are expressing their personalities to each other and not who they really are. And they're basically doing this as a way to deceive each other, whether doing it consciously or unconsciously. They are deceiving each other, lying to each other. Now, I won't be so extreme just because in most cases we are not aware that we are deceiving the other person. This is because of a lack of self-awareness. Because you see, most of us grow up to think that we are our personalities. Yes, indeed. I am this ravelish person. But no, you are not. Deep down, there's some brokenness. Which means that you are not your personality. Your personality and you do not equal. Two separate things. Personality. What is your personality? Your personality was developed as a way to mask the real you from the world. By real you, I mean the you with all your good traits and your brokenness. Things that happen to us at some point in our lives that we are terrified of sharing with someone, let alone share it with the world. Why are we terrified? Is because we are in a conditional society, and from a very young age we realize that if we did not meet a certain standard that society had set, that your parents, your friends and your social circle had set, that you were denied love and validation. So you developed a personality as a way to mask who you really are and show who you want the world to perceive you as, so that you can feel validated and you can feel worthy and you can feel safe and you can feel loved. And that makes you controlling, but that's a topic for another video. The only way that we can keep our personality in check is when we are calm and composed. When our emotions get really high, it's really hard to stay in control of the aspect that we want to portray to our spouse, to our partners, to the people that we go on dates with, or the people that we start dating. And this is how you usually go down. You have an argument with your partner, and that triggers you, and because you haven't dealt with those underlying emotions, that takes you all the way back to the first time that you ever got exposed to that emotion, and you add all of that up, builds up some rage, your body feels like you're being threatened, it reacts in defense by yelling, shouting, or being aggressive. Now your partner is like, oh my God, who the heck are you? So in that moment, your partner also is hit with a shock because he's realizing that the person that he initially met is not who you truly are. That's because you deceived them consciously or unconsciously. Not your fault again, I'm not blaming you. But this will lead to your partner also being shocked. And if he hasn't dealt with his own triggers and he was also deceiving you, most likely trigger him as well if he has triggers that are associated to the same pattern, which will make him pretty much build up all that tension and take it out on you. Now, and just like that, like magic, that is your first argument. Alright. And you're probably not going to attend it. You've just wounded each other and you're going to take space from each other. He's going to go with his boys, he's going to drink. You're going to get on the phone with your girlfriends and talk shit about him. Which is natural. This is what most couples do. Hollywood depicts it that way. And so that is what we do. But wait, there is more. You are probably going to make up after that, have some great makeup sex, or kissing, or whatever it is that you do, and everything will be great. And you forget about it completely until something else happens. Most likely in the dating stage because you're not living together and you're more in a comfortable state and you're sharing that aspect with each other, and that is going to be triggering each other even more, which will lead to more arguments, which will cut the ones that you've not dealt with in the past and cut them even deeper, that your heart will bleed of pain and suffering until you realize that this is not the one that I met, this is not the man that I knew, this is not the girl that I met. You changed on me. No, they didn't change on you, they simply deceived you with a personality. See, you fell in love with each other, but what you really did fall in love with was not the actual person, but you fell in love with the person's personality. And a lot of the time, it's not their fault. They simply want to defend themselves because a personality is simply a defense mechanism that keeps us from being vulnerable. And that comes from a place of no love within ourselves. And for most couples by this point, you break up. But if despite all of this, you still want to go on and get married, you get married through the court and then through the church, and then you go on living with your marriage, and you keep piling up all these things, what ends up happening is that you end up despising or even hating or resenting the person that you're in a relationship with. And that's only because you are not 100% with each other from the start. And in most cases, these are the relationships that end up in divorce. But if you're Christian, ouch, which is going to be extremely difficult, you're most likely going to take more time to get out of your relationship because you're afraid of judgment, loss of validation and value from the congregation, which will make it very hard for you to get out of that relationship because many Christians are dependent on the congregation and their faith to identify. And you're probably going, how could I have known? How could I have known things would get this bad? And it's true, you didn't know. You didn't know things were going to get this bad. How could you have known if you couldn't even be honest with yourself about the aspects of you that are good and the aspects of you that are broken? If you didn't even know about those aspects of yourself, how could you be honest about it to someone else? And how could you have shared to someone else? How could you have known that it's okay to share it with someone else? Which is actually the real problem here. You ask why. You ask why is that the real problem? Okay, you probably didn't. But I'm going to tell you anyways, is that you don't love yourself enough to understand that you are still just as valuable with your flaws and brokenness, if not more valuable than you would have been if you're all nice, perfect, pretty, without flaw as your personality tends to portray. To be able to get to a place where you can love yourself so much that you are okay and you are at peace with being vulnerable from the jump when you meet someone and tell them like, look, this is who I am, I have a porn addiction and I'm struggling with it, and that's who you're choosing to be with. To get to a level where you can be that vulnerable, that comes from a place of self-love and enough love for yourself. How do you get to do that? It's going to take some soul searching and it's going to take some healing work. And I will be breaking that down in part 2 of this video so you can understand how to truly love yourself and be okay with who you are so that you can wear your heart on your sleeves and not be afraid that anyone can take power away from you. Because there is a misconception that when you make yourself vulnerable, when you say something that is deep within you, it gives other people ammo against you. But what that really does is that it sets you free and it empowers you so that no one can use that thing against you. And if they do, then you have the ultimate right to hold them accountable to it. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2 that's coming up, and I will be breaking that down to help you make sure that the next relationship that you get in is not just the one that you want, but the one that you need. Thanks for watching this video. If it was helpful to you, Share with as many people as you can. Anyone that you know in your life that could use this knowledge to improve their situation, get out of a dark place that they've been struggling to get out of. This is why I've created this channel, to help you gain knowledge, because knowledge is power. Power to free yourself. But do you want to?